Hello and welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're joining me today, chances are you or someone you love are navigating the really personal and honestly sometimes incredibly frustrating world of fertility care. The emotional toll of hitting unexplained roadblocks on the way to building your family, well, it's heavy. It can feel like you're wandering through a maze in the dark. But today, our goal is to turn on a light. So let's dive right in. We're going to look at a very specific, highly informative medical tool called Sperm Aneuploidy screening, pulling from clinical insights from ART Fertility Clinics. We'll break the whole thing down step by step because figuring out this hidden information, it might just be the exact key you need to move forward. Right off the bat, we have to talk about the question that echoes in the minds of so many hopeful couples. Why do some IVF cycles fail? It's a gut-wrenching question, isn't it? When you've poured so much time, emotion, and physical energy into a treatment, a setback is it's overwhelming. But instead of getting bogged down in the stress of those setbacks, we want to shift gears toward empowerment. You see, a failed cycle usually isn't the end of the road. It's more like a flashing yield sign pointing us toward a hidden roadblock. By asking why, we open the door to specialized diagnostic tools that can zoom in and show us exactly what's going on at a microscopic level.
So to understand how we actually find those roadblocks, let's demystify a medical term that sounds way more intimidating than it actually is. Aneuploidy. Aneuploidy just means there's an altered number of chromosomes inside a cell. Think of chromosomes like the essential instruction manuals needed to build a healthy cell. For a pregnancy to actually thrive, that manual has to be perfectly complete. No missing pages, no extra pages slipped in. Aneuploidy simply means that in a specific cell, the page count in that instruction manual is just a little bit off.
Okay, so how does this tie into the male side of the fertility equation? That is exactly where sperm aneuploidy screening comes into play. This test is basically just a diagnostic tool. Its whole job is to take a semen sample and identify the percentage of sperm cells in there that have that altered chromosome count we just talked about. Basically, it's a spot check of those biological instruction manuals. It definitely doesn't mean every single cell is affected, but it gives doctors a really clear picture of the overall landscape of the sample. And here is exactly why your doctors care so much about those tiny, microscopic details. Aneuploidy directly impacts the outcomes of assisted reproductive technology, or ART. Let's connect the science to real life for a second. If there's a high rate of sperm aneuploidy, meaning a bigger percentage of sperm have an altered chromosome count, it can unfortunately lead to a higher chance of pregnancy failure or unexpected setbacks during IVF. Knowing this is incredibly powerful. It takes the focus away from some mysterious, unexplained failure and puts it onto a tangible scientific factor that we can actually do something about. This brings us to when doctors actually decide to go looking for this condition. Often, the whole process starts with a clinical term that might pop up on a standard semen analysis, acinosospermia. It is a massive word, I know, but it literally just means reduced sperm motility, or movement. If the sperm aren't swimming as efficiently as they need to be, it's flagged as an abnormal parameter. When a doctor sees this, it's just a gentle tap on the shoulder, suggesting that a closer look, like an aneuploid screening, could really help map out the smartest path for your care. Now, here's another term you might bump into on a lab report: oligozoospermia. Let's ditch the scary medical jargon again. This one just means a low sperm count. Much like the reduced movement we just talked about, a simple low sperm count is another abnormal parameter. And it's actually a super common reason a fertility specialist might say, hey, let's run a sperm aneuploidy screening. By spotting these baseline challenges early, you and your medical team aren't flying blind. You're gathering the precise data you need to make fully informed choices moving forward. So let's pull all this together. Who should actually be considering this screening? Well, we just mentioned the first group: folks with abnormal semen parameters, like low count or low movement. But it is also highly recommended for couples who have gone through the absolute heartbreak of recurrent pregnancy loss, or who've had previous conceptions that were identified as aneuploid. And finally, if you've experienced recurrent IVF treatment failure, this test is definitely for you. I want to pause and reassure you right here. If you have faced these specific hurdles, you are absolutely not alone. And this screening, it is not a final verdict. It's a tool. It's designed to give you the crucial answers you've been searching for, so you can turn things around. Naturally, your next question is probably going to be, well, why does this happen? And this is a really crucial point. Understanding the causes is all about information, absolutely 0% about blame. Sperm aneuploidy is primarily genetically controlled. That means a lot of this is literally just how the body is wired, completely out of anyone's control. That being said, there are associated factors we should be aware of, things like advanced age, environmental factors like pollution, and lifestyle elements, things cigarette smoking or alcohol consumption. It's also linked to previous intensive medical treatments, like cancer chemotherapy. Looking at these factors as just pure information helps us navigate this journey together without carrying around any unnecessary guilt or judgment. Okay, so what does the actual process look like? If your doctor brings this up, I want you to see just how simple it is. It's basically 3 unintimidating steps. Step 1, you just provide a semen sample, exactly like you would for a standard initial fertility check. Easy enough, right? Step 2, the laboratory experts take over and use some pretty advanced technology to deeply analyze that chromosome count. And step 3, your doctor takes your specific personalized results and uses them to tailor your treatment options. That is the whole shebang. The science behind the scenes is super complex, but your path as a patient is clear, straightforward, and 100% focused on getting you the right help. And that leads us to my absolute favorite part of this explainer, the solutions. What actually happens after you get those results back? Basically, the screening acts as a roadmap for your fertility specialists. Based on what they find, they guide you toward advanced fertility care that is tailored specifically to your unique biology. This usually points to 3 major clinical treatment options: traditional IVF, ICSI, and PGTA. Having this data means your doctor isn't just throwing spaghetti at the wall with a one-size-fits-all approach. They are handpicking the precise technique that will give you the highest possible chance of success. Let's demystify one of those big treatments right now, ICSI. It stands for intracytoplasmic sperm injection. If your screening or an abnormal semen parameter shows that the sperm might have a tough time fertilizing an egg all on its own, ICSI is a technique designed to overcome that exact male infertility hurdle. Instead of just placing sperm next to the egg in a lab and hoping for the best, an embryologist carefully selects one single, optimal sperm and injects it directly into the egg. It is a highly targeted, incredibly effective solution that confidently bypasses a lot of natural barriers. And if we want to add yet another powerful layer of reassurance on the road to a healthy pregnancy, we look to PGTA. That stands for pre-implantation genetic testing for aneuploidies. So while the initial screening we've been talking about checks the sperm, PGTA is used alongside IVF to test the resulting embryos before they're ever implanted. This makes sure that the embryos chosen for transfer have the correct, healthy number of chromosomes. If the sperm screening showed a high risk of aneuploidy, using PGTA is an absolute game changer for peace of mind. It ensures you are only transferring the strongest, healthiest embryos. We have covered a lot of scientific ground today, from chromosome page counts to high-tech lab techniques. But I want to leave you with one core message. Having the right information brings you one step closer to your goal. Fertility challenges can feel so incredibly isolating and honestly pretty mysterious. But every single test, every screening, every previously scary medical term you decode, it's just a piece of your unique puzzle finally falling into place. Understanding the biology of what is actually happening empowers you and your medical team to bypass the roadblocks and confidently build the family you've been dreaming of. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. What hidden answers might be waiting in your own data, ready to light your path forward? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and I truly wish you clarity, hope, and tons of success on your journey.